If you've never watched the NFL draft before, it might seem like daunting and confusing, okay, but it's not. Let me break it down for you. So basically, the draft goes over 3 days and there are 7 rounds of draft picks. Day 1 is dedicated to round 1, and that's like your big day. Rounds 2 and 3 are on the next day, and rounds 4 to 7 are on the last day. But if you're new, okay, let's just focus on the first round because that's the one with all the hype. So how's the order determined? Okay, so basically 32 teams, it goes in reverse order on like how you finish. Okay, so if you're the worst of the worst, you get the number 1 pick. And if you're the Super Bowl champion, you're probably going to be at 32. Now, this isn't always the case because teams can trade picks away, which has happened this year. But more often than not, that's how it falls. It's no lottery or anything like the NBA. It's your position and then whether or not you still actually own that pick or if you already have traded it away. For example, my Bengals were at pick 10, but we just traded that pick away to the Giants to pick up Dexter Lawrence. As you can see, some teams have multiple picks in the first round, but some teams actually don't have a pick in the first round. And the fact that there's so many teams in this draft that have 2 first round picks is like a huge deal. Now, this is the amount of picks that every team has. And as you can see, it's different because of trades and all those movements. But where this comes into play, as you can see, some teams have a lot of picks, and that means they can make a lot of moves. Because it's a weaker draft, if certain teams want to be like more aggressive, you might see them trade multiple draft picks to a team that's above them in order to move up in the draft order. In the same way, you'll also have some teams who aren't really happy with the options on the board, and they just go, that's fine, I'll see if I can trade down with another team. Now, when can this movement happen? Okay, it can pretty much happen at any time, but your last chance to make like any movements with a pick is when you're on the clock. Now, each team has 8 minutes in the first round to make their pick when it's their turn. As the rounds go on, their time gets a little bit less. This is the moment where teams either pick a player to draft or make a trade with another team to move positions. And then that team moves up and takes their spot instead, and now they're on the clock. And all teams sort of have a plan going in, but all it takes is one team to do something rogue and draft a rogue player or do a weird trade, and then everyone panics. Now, you will see when a team's on the clock, the broadcast is going to show you like the next best available players. But just because a player is the next best available player doesn't mean that that player is the right position for what the team on the clock needs. So sometimes they follow the list and sometimes there's a bit of moving around. And the best part is that everyone does these mock drafts and try to like guess where players and everyone's going to go, but really none of us have a clue. And it all gets thrown out of the window pretty fast. Actually, I lied. The one thing most of us are certain on is that the Raiders with their first overall pick are going to take Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback who just won the national championship, and I think that's going to be great to see. But after that, who knows what's going to happen. Fun things to watch out for is when Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, he comes out on the stage, no matter what, it's tradition to boo him. Everyone in Pittsburgh, okay, you're in the crowd, you're booing the commissioner. And like, credit to Roger, takes it like a champ. Also, you gotta watch out for the commissioner hug. Everyone who gets drafted, who is actually there, when their name is called, they give Roger a hug. And sometimes they're pretty rogue. Now, this draft, even though people are calling it weaker, it has got depth and is stronger in certain positions. Wide receivers is one, some defensive positions like linebackers, and of course, offensive linemen. So if teams need those positions, they might not be as aggressive to move up to get picks because they go, hey, even if I don't get the first person I want, there's a good chance another good person's gonna fall to me. But if a team needs someone not in those positions, you might see some aggression and them trying to move up to take the best available players that they need. And there's a drop off like pretty early in that first round, so we might see some movement. And I really love just everyone ripping apart decisions like they're an expert. Really, none of us know whether or not it's a good or a bad pick until later. You can watch round 1 on Friday the 24th at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be on ESPN, 7 Plus, 7 Mate, Game Pass, all of that. The other rounds are only usually on Game Pass and ESPN. And I am going to be streaming live on TikTok during the first round of the draft because I want company. Otherwise, it's just me freaking out over picks on my own in my house with my dogs. So if you want to join, you can join. We can pretend to be experts together and tell teams how to draft.